So Apple just ended their October event, and last year's October event was focused on the iPhone 12s, but this year it was focused on mainly three products: AirPods, HomePod, and the Mac, which is on the hype of the event. Today I'm gonna be covering all these products in under 15 minutes. Without further ado, let's get right into the new Apple products. So let's start off with the Apple Voice plan. It's basically a new subscription to Apple Music for $4.99 per month, and it has new features that you can do. It's voice mode. Apple says it has 600 new albums for the type of mode you want. You can have party mode. You can have intensity mode. You can have all different modes for the time of for the thing that you're doing. It's actually pretty cool. It started at $4.99 per month, which is actually a pretty good price, and it's only for one person, not for different various accounts. The regular Apple Music subscription, which is $9.99 per month, is for I think 3 accounts only. This one is for just one single account. So if you're just a person who just wants who has different Apple products, this is a pretty good subscription plan. It's only $4.99 per month, which is actually pretty good. And that's about it with the music. Let's get on to the new HomePod. So the HomePod Mini, it didn't get anything new. It just got some new colors: red, a pretty bold red, and a pretty bold yellow, and a deep a deep Pacific blue color, like kind of the iPhone 12 Pros had last year. And the blue is kind of cool. That's a house that has a blue, kind of a blue style to it. It's pretty cool. I'll still go for a silver or a white or a black, but for red, yellow, blue, it's more for your room. So that's actually pretty cool to have that. You still have the intercom feature, which is pretty cool, and all the benefits of the HomePod Mini. So that's still there. Only it just comes in new colors. It's actually pretty cool. Now let's get on to the new AirPods 3, which people were very excited about. The leaks were true, as you may have seen some of the leaked images. They have the silicone, they have the AirPods Pro design with almost literally the exact same design, except for the silicone ear tips. They have almost the exact same case, about a little bit more wide and a little bit less square, which is actually pretty cool. No ear tips and a better driver, specifically made for AirPods, as Apple said. They also have adaptive EQ, which since our ears are made differently, Apple says it can tune the volume so the song is heard pretty good like it should be. So it's actually a pretty cool feature. And also it has sweat and water resistant, which is also pretty cool, and it has 6 hours of battery life, which is also pretty cool. Last time it was only about 4 hours and a half, I believe. So this is actually a pretty good improvement. And as far as charging, 5 minutes can do about an hour of listening time, which is actually pretty good. The price increased also by about $20, which isn't really the best. You want products to stay about the same exact price when they appear, but this one, the AirPods second generation were $159. These are $179. $20 is still $20, which isn't that much, but hey, $20 is still $20. So kind of sad that they increased the price, but it's okay. And now you can't really tell the difference if people have the regular AirPods Pro or just the AirPods. And so yeah, they have all the the W1 chip, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, that's about it. Pretty cool AirPods. They have spatial audio also, which is actually pretty cool. They don't have noise cancellation, which is kind of sad, but that'll just be a feature for the Pro AirPods. That's about it for the AirPods. So that's actually a pretty good upgrade. And now for the new MacBook Pros chips and the MacBook Pros. So first of all, I'm going to start off with the chips. I want to say something really quickly. Apple shows some pretty weird graphs, I guess. Like the M1 graphs were the M1 is up here and the PCs are over here. Then they showed some actually a little bit more relevant graphs at the end where they compared the i9 MacBook Pro to 6-inch MacBook Pro. They're just solitary, just regular baseline lines, comparing them, which is actually way better than just doing some weird arcs, and that doesn't make much sense. So they got the graphs just a little bit better at the end. But let's start off with the chips. There were rumors of the chips calling the M1 Pro and the M1 Max, and those were actually pretty true. That's actually pretty accurate. And the new MacBook Pro has a new chip called the first time they started off with the M1 Pro. I'm also going to have timestamps in the video, so you want to go check those out. You can skip this part, or you can just watch it until the MacBook Pros. It supports up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, the M1 and the M1 Pro. It's kind of weird to say M1 Pro. Should have been just called the M1C and the M1X. Would have been way better, but okay. It has 32 gigabytes of storage, which is twice the amount of 16 gigs, which is actually pretty cool. And it also has 10-core CPU, 2 CPU cores better. CPU is more for opening apps and stuff like that. GPU is for gaming and editing and graphics and all that good stuff. Which is great. It has 16-core GPU cores, which is actually pretty cool, and which is great for video editing. It even has ProRes video. It has 1.5 ProRes video encoder and H.264 and HEVC and different formats, which is actually pretty cool. And that means it'll have better ProRes video, so you shoot in RAW or ProRes, you have a better time adjusting and just overall editing better. So it's actually pretty cool. And then initial state editing 8K footage is actually pretty cool. So they say it can end up, and I think the 16-inch can end up to 7 streams of 8K video footage at a time, and then 3 streams I think of 8K on the MacBook on the 14-inch MacBook Pro. So it's actually pretty good, and it has room for more displays. It supports up to 2 display exteriors at their max limits, and then an extra 4K display. As for the 14-inch model, for the 16-inch, it supports up to 3 exterior displays at 6K, and then an extra 4K display on the side, which is actually pretty good. So Apple really take the port connectivity thing a little bit more serious, and they're upgrading their ports or their displays, which is actually pretty cool. And now there's the M1 Max chip, which is kind of weird to say, but it has the M1 Max chip, and it supports up to 64 gigabytes of RAM, which is 3 times the amount of 16 gigs, which is actually crazy. It's more for professionals who have multitasking on video editing, photos, editing, stuff like that. I'm not sure who this is for, but it's pretty good. An improvement is still an improvement, which is pretty cool. It has 10-core CPU as usual. The CPU cores have not changed. It's 2 cores better, which is actually still an improvement. Is an improvement. It has 32 GPU cores for video editing. This is crazy. This is going to be really good for 8K red raw or raw, just stuff like that. It's actually pretty cool for 12K, maybe even, I don't know. If you have another there's a 12K camera, so that'd be actually pretty cool to see it editing 12K footage. That'd be pretty cool. And any video encoder, it has, instead of 1 ProRes video encoder or 1 for each ProRes, RAW, and HDVC and H.264, it now has 2. So specifically for RAW, ProRes, and other stuff, which is actually pretty good for editing RAW if you want that extra bit of like just better power. It's actually pretty cool, and it's great for editing high-res video like 8K footage. It's actually pretty cool. So these new chips are absolutely insane. These are pretty cool chips. That's actually pretty, I guess, cool. That's pretty good. That's insane power, and that's mostly for professionals who edit maybe like 8K video, 4K ProRes or stuff like that, and graphics designers who have better performance. Apple talked to some developers, and I mean, they of course always say some good things about the M1, but still they say it's better, and a lot of stuff. So this chip is actually pretty good if it can live up to those standards that Apple puts on it. That'll be a pretty great chip for editing 8K on ProRes, especially on the iPhone, or or just any R5 camera or Red RAW camera. That'll be pretty cool to see how good this chip does. So I'm really excited to see the tests and see how they do. And now on the new MacBook Pros, this has a new design, which the leaks and rumors were actually very accurate about. It has more thermal power because it has like little like, have you seen like you turn your Mac upside down? Have you seen like those little rubber tips that I said at the bottom, and it's now has a little bit extra those rubber tips, so it's now floating above the air, so airflow can go better. It has a better thermal power. It kind of reminds me of those 2015-14 Macs that have like a little bit heavier stance, so they can get more airflow in. It's actually pretty cool. There's now no touch bar. Kind of sad. I wish there was an option for it, but Apple's going no touch bar. Just I guess okay, but I kind of would have preferred the touch bar. I kind of liked it, so kind of sad. But there's now new ports, HDMI or SD card slot, which is good because I hate having a dongle. Really annoying. USB-C for Thunderbolt 4, and then there's 2 extra USB-C ports for any other thing you want. And then there's a headphone jack. That's about it. No USB ports. It's kind of annoying for those creators who use USB for their microphones or stuff like that. Still gotta use a dongle. Still kind of annoying. Maybe next year they can have maybe 2 USB ports. The thing about the ports is like on the Macs, you don't want it to look kind of clean. You don't want it to look that ugly. So it's kind of sad, but I guess he did it just for like design and looks reasons. But anyways, an improvement, still an improvement. It's great that we have those new HDMI, SD card slot, and just overall better ports, which is pretty cool. And now there is MagSafe, which supports fast charging up to 50% in half an hour, which is pretty good. And they didn't say anything about the charger, including in the box. I'm so hoping they have it in the box. You can also charge by MagSafe, which is the faster way, or you can charge by Thunderbolt or USB-C, which is actually pretty good. It's kind of lacking USB port, as I said before, but I think it's okay. The top bezel is now thinner, and there comes the notch yet again. When I first saw the notch, I was like, oh, what have they done? But I guess it kind of looks better, I guess, once you get used to it. And in a few months, we're going to say, oh, that actually looks pretty good, or in a few weeks. So, kind of sad that they added a notch, and there's even no Face ID on it. It's kind of sad. Maybe they could just add in like a top bezel, like on like that FaceTime camera, like they did it with the iPad Pro, where instead of having like the bezel, they put the notch in the bezel. Hopefully they can do that maybe next year on the Mac. But overall, that's what we got. I mean, it's okay. It has 1080p video camera, which is about time, but I don't like a notch. It looks kind of ugly to Mac, unless you removed all the top bezel and they just put a notch there. It will look better, but It's okay. The side bezel is kind of reduced by 24%. Still okay. I wish they were like thin. I wish it would have gotten thinner completely, but it's still there. It also has there's a 14-inch and 16-inch model, which is pretty good. Finally, the 16-inch has arrived almost 2 years, almost 1 year and 10 months after it was released. Like 16-inch model. There is ProMotion on these Macs, which is pretty good. You can also adjust the frame rate that you want when editing footage. So you can go into the display settings. You can adjust 103 hertz, 60 hertz, or 24 hertz, I think, which is actually pretty good. And so it now supports 120 hertz, which is great for scrolling, watching videos, editing 120 frames per second footage, which is excellent. So now I'm very happy that it has 120 hertz, and it's really good. It has a mini LED backlight display, but it's still an LCD panel. I was kind of confused when I first heard that. I'm not sure if it's a full mini LED or just an LCD, but completely. It says it's a liquid retina XDR display, much like the Pro Display XDR. So I was kind of confused on that. Is the backlight? They said the backlight is mini LED, but the display panel itself is LCD. I'm not really sure what they meant by that, but I'm just gonna say it's mini LED, I guess. It supports up to 1,000 nits of sustained brightness and 1,000 and 1,600 nits for peak brightness when watching HDR video. It doesn't have Face ID on the notch. It's kind of sad. I wish it would have been better. But let's move on from that. So the screen is actually a real upgrade. Apple says it has 60% better mics. Okay, we'll test that out. And it has and the 16-inch and 14-inch have better speakers for better bass. For bass, I think so you say. Apple said it has 80% better bass. Not sure how much that's gonna improve, but it overall just has better speakers. You can have 8K video on this Mac. There's this, and it also has a 7.4 gigabyte write speed, which is really good. 16-inch has 21 hours of battery life overall, which is pretty good. It also has fast charge 50% in 30 minutes, and there's now 8 terabytes of storage on both models. So that's actually pretty good. The price have also increased. Sadly, the 14-inch is now $19.99, $2,000. For that $13.99 price tag. I wish it would have been at least $17.99. That would have been very good. But no, it's kind of sad. It increased by almost like $500. It's kind of, or $600. Kind of annoying. The 16-inch, on the other hand, is actually a little bit better. I guess it starts at $249, about $200 more than the original $239 price. It's not that bad, but overall, it's kind of sad that they increased the price. Of course, with every upgrade, there has to be a price increase. That was kind of sad. I wish it would have gotten at least $17.99 or even $16.99 on the 14-inch model. That would have been way better. Sadly, that's not the case, and that's how we have with these Macs. I'm really excited to see how these Macs compare and beta editing tests and overall graphics tests, which is actually pretty cool. And hopefully one day I can review one. Probably not gonna do it, but hey, that'll be pretty cool. That's about it, guys. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.